All right, for this last video, it's pretty much finished. What I'd like to do is just make sure that it's working right before we push it up and then do a test. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go to the site, and what I'm looking for is, can you edit? And when you pop up, so I'll say I'll add a little S on there. Does it add? Yes. Can I add a new book? So now this drop down is key. Anytime we have a relationship, it needs to be in a drop down. Okay, so I'm going to add this, and we'll just pick a date, and all right, so that is added, and it is added right here. So we'll edit it, and we will say add some more threes. All right, that one's working. Now, notice Agatha Christie has 2 books. If I go to authors and I find Agatha Christie here and I hit delete, this will also delete the books. I'm going to hit delete. I'm going to go back to books and notice that there are no more books by Agatha Christie. That's what you're going to need to do. The 2 things I want done is so here's the author, George Orwell. So if I go back to authors and I edit George, we'll just add an S, George's Orwell, and I go back to books, this needs to be able to be updated. So that should be George's. Okay, so it should cascade update and it should cascade delete. If I delete the author, it should be all the books and the author, so all of the books related to the author should also be gone. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for the demo. Obviously, for the duplication, I want the whole site to look a lot better. I want you guys to have your own ideas for the 2 tables. There needs to be a relationship between the 2 items, and then that will work. So for this portion, we're looking at drop downs. There are no drop downs for the primary table, but in the secondary table, there are drop downs. And then let's go ahead and just push the whole thing out to the site and see that it works. So I'm just going to say submit changes to GitHub, and then it's going to ask me permissions. So I'm going to say, of course. All right, taking a little bit of time, but it should be just about sending it up. It's writing some cool comments about what we did. We did a lot of work, and a lot of stuff is going to be sent up. All right, so it's doing the initial commit. And yes. So it'll send it up. Now, I still have these py files down here that I'm not necessarily, that I don't need, and I also have these 2 here, the kills. So I can tell it over here, remove the kill py files and set up and verify py files. And it should just get rid of those 4. I don't need those anymore. They were just kind of extra. All right, so those 2 kill ones are done, and the other ones look much cleaner too. And if I close the templates, close the blueprints, close the app, the whole app looks so much better. All right, so we are pretty much good to go. Let's go out and look and see what's going on with our Heroku. So we go to activity, and it looks like it is building. And we open up, and this should say not examples, but it should say so we just need to wait for a second and see if it's finished sending it up. Okay. go back to deploy, and let's just do a manual deploy. So if I go back to activity, now it should be building again. Sometimes it does take just a second to like actually build. It might have already been building, but we can look at the progress for it. Looks like it's already quite a ways into it. And looks like it's finished. So I'm going to go over here and hit refresh. And I'm going to come back over here to cursor and tell it the base file was not updated on the GitHub site. And it's already building, which is kind of nice. So we'll see how it does. All right, it says it's finished. Come over here, hit refresh, and we're getting an internal service error. So let's look at the logs, and we can copy all of that. And we'll go right back over here and just paste it right in. Oh, in the base file, it is missing the show examples. So it needs to fix that. It needs to get rid of it. We shouldn't have it in there. All right, so this is the process. You have to go through this, and now it's going to be building again. And so you have to wait for it to build all the way down before it actually, you can actually check to see if it actually worked. So every time you make a change, you got to build it again. All right, view build progress. It does go a little bit faster each time. All right, there's authors, and it's having an issue. And here's books, and it's having an issue. So let's go back to here and look at what those issues were. And just paste that right in. And hopefully he'll just find it really quickly. Oh, so I know what the issue is. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it. I just stopped it. I never added this information to my, to the file. So let me just copy that information. And I'm going to go out to my Heroku, go to settings, come down here, and I'm going to start with host and copy that in and do the same thing for user. Copy that in. Do the same thing for password. Copy that in. And finally, the last thing for name. and copy that in. All right, click add. I can remove this one and everything's there. And now if I come back over here and hit refresh and go to authors, it should work fine. There's my authors, and it's got George's on the end of it, so we know that's all working. Okay, that's it for demo. That's it for demo 4. Pretty easy. We're going to add 2 tables. They're going to be related. When you click edit, the drop downs need to work. When you click delete, you need to have a modal. If you delete an author, all the books for that author should be deleted as well.